Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Aldas and today I'm going to be talking about the brand new Ferrari that has just been unveiled, their 2020 Challenger, the SF1000. It is always a very special occasion when a brand new Ferrari is revealed, and it was definitely a special event. Ferrari put on an absolute show in classic, over-the-top Italian style. I absolutely loved it. It got a little bit of mixed reactions, but hey, better than a boring one, that's for sure. But the car, the 2020 Ferrari, is out. In this video, we're going to take a look at it. I'll give my thoughts on it. We're going to talk about some of the things that have changed from 2019, and then at the end of the video I'm also going to talk about Ferrari themselves in 2020 and what hopefully should be a very good season. Now guys, don't forget, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and check out my social medias. Instagram and Twitter will be above. But guys, let's get into it. The SF1000 has been revealed, Ferrari's Challenger for 2020. Now, if you guys are wondering why it's called the SF1000, that is because Ferrari in 2020 are going to go into their 1000th Grand Prix in Formula 1 racing. So, of course, hence the SF1000. As far as the car itself, let's get straight into the pictures. Number one, before we actually do talk about the car, thank you, Ferrari. Grazie, Ferrari, for actually giving us good photos. Mercedes, watch and learn. Christ. So, finally, we get some good photos. Now, the car itself, of course, it is a Ferrari. It is red. They have stuck with their 2019 color scheme of making it matte. And do you know what? I really do like it. I think we had, obviously, gloss for such a long time. And switching in 2019 to a matte paint job, it was a really nice change up. And I really do like it. The sort of little differences, because, of course, at the end of the day, it is a Ferrari. It is red. Shock. The sort of little differences is actually is a little bit more red than before. There is not as much black on the front wing and not as much black towards the back of the car as well. And the biggest difference, I suppose you could say, is the fact that they've actually changed the font on the driver's numbers as well. Now, to be honest, from first kind of looking at it, I am kind of looking and comparing to pictures of last year's cars. I actually prefer last year's font, in my opinion, but nevertheless, it's a classy car. It's a Ferrari. It looks great, and it's the proof is going to be in the pudding, let's be honest. So to kind of keep it short and snappy, guys, in terms of what I think of the brand new livery, I really like it. I don't know if it's better than last year because I don't really like the font of the numbers, but overall, it's a Ferrari. It looks beautiful, and as I said, I mean, it's going to do all the talking on track, but at the moment, yeah, it is a very good car. Certainly, I sort of prefer it over the Mercedes. I definitely wasn't sure about their livery, but again, I'm really looking forward to seeing these cars out on track in the sunlight, what it looks like, because especially last year, that matte paint job in the sun looked absolutely stunning, so no doubt this will be the same. Now, in terms of what's actually different about the car, both on the outside and under the skin, Mattia Binotto did briefly mention a few things. The entire car has been repackaged to increase downforce. Of course, that was Ferrari's one big downfall in 2019. They certainly had the engine power, there's no doubt about that, but they have done a lot of repackaging and redesigning in terms of the engine and the chassis, and it's more of an evolution of last year, as we would expect, because of course most of the development is going to go towards the 2021 car. That's going to be a completely brand new car, and also the suspension has also been completely redesigned to basically give greater flexibility so the drivers are much more comfortable over the race weekends. Now, as far as the aero, and we're going to switch to a few little different pictures. First of all, let's take a look at the front of the car. And by the way, of course, I'm by no means an aerodynamicist, so I'm purely looking from a fan's perspective at what looks different and comparing to last year's car. The front wing looks very similar, which was actually a bit of a surprise to me. I thought they might have done a little bit more of a redesign and a bit more downforce on the front of the car, because certainly last year there was a lot of dragging and a little bit of understeer sometimes, so it didn't quite give the drivers the confidence, but certainly they've done a lot of work further down. So the front wing, there's not too much change, but as you can see, it is a little bit more red compared to last year. But the side pods and the aero around it, under the mirror and kind of the barge board area, that has been completely redesigned. If you look, I'll put up pictures from last year's car and this year's car. Yeah, that is going to be the biggest difference. So again, they're looking for more downforce. They know that they have that power advantage, so that means that they can sacrifice some of that for a bit of drag and a little bit more downforce to hopefully give a much better overall package that will work throughout the entire year. The big issue Ferrari had last year was clearly a lot of pace in qualifying on low fuel, but when it came to the race, except from their strategy, which let's not talk about now, in the races they weren't quite as strong as we saw. Their pace did seem to drop away, and again, all of this massive redesign, it certainly looks a lot more like a Red Bull, I mean, just to my eye. If we move a little bit further down the car, there is still quite a lot that has stayed the same. The one really big difference that I see, and I don't know if this is just me, but certainly the fin at the back does seem to be a little bit bigger. Perhaps that's to give the car a little bit more stability in a straight line, whatever, but certainly to my eye, it does look just a little bit bigger. And the thing that still kind of surprises me is just how sculpted and how shrunk the back of the cars are around that engine. And it's quite incredible to think where we've come from. If you remember in 2014, they were struggling, and teams like McLaren in 2015, they were struggling to really keep everything compact and make everything functional. But now there has been so much development since then. So yeah, that is kind of amazing. But other than that, guys, there's not too much else that I see that has changed, to be honest. But it must be said that these cars are going to be completely different when we get to testing. Ferrari, undoubtedly, in these official images that have been released, don't want to show all of the tricks that they have under their sleeves. And when we do get to testing, the cars are going to look a little bit different. But we do get a good picture and a good baseline of what Ferrari are going for. And there was very strong rumors that, like Mercedes did in 2019, Ferrari in 2020 are going to turn up to testing with an A-spec and a B-spec car to kind of test back to back. So hopefully all of this will help them produce a competitive car that they can use to fight for the 2020 world title. And boy, has it been a while since they won either a driver's or constructor's title. So in terms of the way the car looks, what do you guys think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you change about it? And yeah, also let me know about what you thought of the launch. Personally, I loved it. It was over the top. It was Italian, and it made me feel really cool, because I think there's been a lot of stuff that's been watered down recently in Formula One, but certainly Ferrari are still sticking to their Italian roots, if you guys know what I mean. Now taking a really small look ahead at the 2020 season for both of their drivers, obviously, yeah, I mean, Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc. And by the way, guys, they've also had a few little changes on their race suits as well, with some added black on there. So yeah, definitely love that as well, by the way. But in terms of their drivers, it's going to be a massive season, especially for Sebastian Vettel. I have already made a video where I did say that I think personally, Ferrari, unless he has an amazing 2020 season and wins the title, I have said that I do think they should drop Vettel for 2021, because I feel like in 2021... I feel like Sebastian Vettel, if he continues to have a bunch of spins, be a little bit inconsistent and not perform under pressure when he really needs to, I just don't see him helping Ferrari. I see him actually hindering Charles Leclerc, who is someone that is going to obviously develop and get better and better and better. For Ferrari 2020, as always, they're going to be hunting for the title. Any season where they don't win a title is a failure for Ferrari, because they are the most successful team in Formula One. They have been there since right at the beginning, although not the very first race for money reasons, as usual, classic Ferrari, but they're the most historic team, and as I said, any season where they don't challenge for a title is a failure. Overall though, 2019 was a little bit of a disappointment, especially after 2018, to only get 3 wins, 2 for Charles Leclerc, 1 for Sebastian Vettel, although of course Charles Leclerc did have the most pole positions with 7 poles, which was incredible. I think for 2020, provided that this car is going to be good enough to challenge for race wins, they need to cut out the mistakes, both by the team and the strategy department, because that's been a little bit of a laughing stock in 2019. Hopefully that they kind of tighten it up a little bit. Mattia Binotto is now in his 2nd year as team principal, so hopefully he'll bring a bit more stability and just kind of lead the team a little bit more, and the drivers also need to cut out those mistakes, like Charles Leclerc crashing in Germany and Azerbaijan as well. But I do understand that he is a young driver, only in his 3rd season in Formula One. But for Seb, being a 4-time world champion, he also just needs to kind of a little bit get a grip of himself and really try to handle the pressure a lot better. He is a 4-time world champion. He needs to cut out all the mistakes, cut out all of the spins, and certainly be a little bit more consistent. I do understand that he did have quite a bit of bad luck in terms of reliability, certainly a little bit more than his teammate, but the entire team from top to bottom just needs to focus a little bit more and just tighten up and be a little bit more professional and more consistent, certainly up against a monster team like Mercedes, who every single week in, week out, just seem to do a brilliant job. Anyway, there you go, guys. That is my video looking at the brand new Ferrari for 2020. Also taking a little preview into their 2020 season. Will this be Ferrari's year? They haven't won a driver's title since 2007 with Kimi Raikkonen. They haven't won a constructor's title since 2008. Will 2020 be Ferrari's year? Well, we'll see. Anyway, guys, there you go. I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, don't forget to drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and check out my social medias. Instagram and Twitter will be above. And as I said, don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think of the car, and also what do you think Ferrari will be able to achieve in 2020. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.